coming to you from this part of the room today because the lighting is working much better. So I believe that I have mentioned this before, but I'm currently undertaking a little personal project where I read through all of the Sherlock Holmes books in chronological order. And what I was originally planning to do was do one big video when I had finished all 9 of them, just like going through all of them, giving my impressions and thoughts, ranking them in order of preference. But then I realized that I was averaging reading about 1 of them a month, so by the time I made that video, it would have been like nearly a year since I read the first one. So I decided to not do that because it was stupid. So instead, I'm breaking it into chunks and doing a 3-part series. So today we're going to be talking about the first 3 Sherlock Holmes books, A Study in Scarlet, The Sign of the Four, and The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. There will be some slight spoilers in these videos, but nothing that reveals the solutions of the actual mysteries. It's all like tertiary stuff. So general overall feelings, very positive. I'm very glad I decided to do this because it's been super fun. I listened to A Study in Scarlet and The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes as audiobooks, and I plan to do that for as many of the books in the series as I possibly can because, oh, it's perfect. The Sherlock Holmes stories are like the exact sort of thing that's really nice to have read to you. They're just so cozy. As for other, like, overarching impressions, I think it's very clear that good old Sir ACD had no idea that this was gonna take off the way that it did, and that he really only planned to write a few of these. Like, Watson gets engaged at the end of the 2nd book, and by the beginning of the 3rd one, he's already moved out of Baker Street. I'm pretty sure that Doyle was like, oh, I want to be able to give everybody nice endings when I finish this up. Let me start wrapping things up for it right now. Let's do that. Clearly that is not what happened. But let's talk about each book individually. First up, A Study in Scarlet. In this novel, Holmes and Watson meet for the first time and solve their first case together. And it was good, but it was a little dull. Like, I'm sure it was much more exciting when it was originally published, but since it's the first one, it's got to get a lot of exposition-y stuff out of the way. And Sherlock Holmes has, like, seeped into the public consciousness so much that, like, you already know all of those things that have to be exposited. There are also some structural problems. Sure hope you like Utah, because you're gonna spend the entire second half of the book there. But the mystery itself is good. Number 2 in the series is The Sign of the Four, and this is sort of a locked room murder mystery combined with everybody trying to find some treasure. I feel really conflicted about this one, because on the one hand, it's so fun and adventure-y. Like, this is exactly what you think of when you think of Sherlock Holmes adventures, with like running and shootouts and high-speed chases and whatnot. But on the other hand, it is super racist. The Victorians were not really known for their tolerant views of others, but yeah, it's still a bummer. If nothing else, it's incredibly distracting because you'll just be bopping along, having a good time, and then suddenly, boom, race hate. Oh, come on. And the last one we'll be talking about today is the 3rd book in the series, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Can't really do a plot summary on this one because it's all short stories. And I have to say, I think Sherlock Holmes works best as short stories. Like, the novels sometimes drag a little bit, but the short stories never do. And this one was great for me personally because this is the one that I used to read when I was a kid. But it's been so long since I read them that I barely remembered them, and they were totally fresh. It was great. So the current ranking for Sherlock Holmes stories, based entirely upon my own personal preference and nothing else, is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes at number 1, The Sign of the Four at number 2, and A Study in Scarlet at number 3. Clearly they get better as they go on. Next time I talk to you about Sherlock Holmes, we'll be discussing the memoirs of Sherlock Holmes, The Return of Sherlock Holmes, and The Hound of the Baskervilles. When will that be? Who knows? The scheduling on this channel has always been whimsical. You guys know. And that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Let's talk about Sherlock Holmes down in the comments, and I will see you soon. Bye.